Have you been thinking about hiding your taxes this year? The long and the short of it is that maybe in the past you might have been able to get away with that, but the IRS is coming on strong in 2020. They sent a message to Bitcoin holders in 2019 when they sent 10,000 letters to individual Bitcoin holders. And the fact is, if you traded any crypto in 2019, that means if you converted Bitcoin to Ethereum, bought something with crypto, or cashed out any gains or losses, then you are susceptible to tax laws. And you might just be targeted because you traded cryptocurrency. Today, we're going to be looking at why all of this is so important and what you need to do about it. Let's get it. Hello and welcome to BitBoy Crypto, your one-stop shop for all things related to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I make videos on this channel almost every day. If you like what you hear or see, then please make sure to subscribe and click the bell to turn on notifications. And if you'd like to take the conversation even further or ask me any questions, please make sure to join my Telegram group, the Bit Squad. All right, guys, you are in for a treat today. I interviewed Pat Larson, the CEO and founder of ZenLedger. I did a ZenLedger review a couple of weeks ago, and we got a great response from that. A lot of you guys actually signed up for the ZenLedger crypto tax service, and you guys who haven't yet may want to give it a second look. Today, Pat and I talk about what constitutes a taxable event, how to use ZenLedger, and most importantly, what could happen to you if you try to avoid the tax man in this new age of crypto. If you're interested after the interview in signing up for ZenLedger, please make sure to use my code BitBoy15 for 15% off any service. Before we get to the interview though, I did want to address one question that I was asked in Telegram. The question was, do you have to connect ZenLedger to your exchanges via API? API may make some people uncomfortable because you are giving a company access to see your info on an exchange. Now, I trust ZenLedger. I think it is a very reputable company, and I believe their API is secure like they say it is. However, if that makes you nervous, you do have two options. You can manually keep a CSV spreadsheet for your trades and upload that instead of connecting directly. The other option would be to connect the exchange via API, get your tax documents, which can be done in less than 10 minutes, and then disconnect the API. I understand the crypto crowd is very privacy focused, so I did want to address that first so you guys understand you don't have to connect the API. All right, guys, that's it. Let's check out my interview with Pat Larson. Hey everyone, welcome. We got a wonderful interview for you guys today. We have Pat Larson, the CEO and founder of ZenLedger. Very excited to talk about crypto taxes with you. I guess if you can be excited to talk about taxes, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's not the most fun subject, but it's something you have to pay attention to.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing that we've definitely seen change over the last really year to 2 years for sure, which is we're coming out of this Wild West, stage in crypto where you kind of do whatever you wanted. You could hide your crypto. You didn't really have to necessarily worry about the government coming after you, but that is definitely changing. How have you seen that change, since you've been in crypto?
Yeah, certainly. So I'd say, the summer of 2017, the IRS was suing Coinbase and subsequently won that lawsuit. And so Coinbase had to turn over user information. You see cryptocurrency exchanges like Binance and Huobi create onshore entities in the United States. So it just goes to show you that the United States is still very powerful. I'd estimate that the United States probably has more than 50% of the world's investable capital. Like people can buy coins and stocks and things like that. So it's like the biggest game in town, and exchanges know they have to conform to U.S. laws and regulations. And those laws are still being formed. Like Congress hasn't really given a lot of certainty to the IRS and to the taxpayer about this yet.
Yeah, but we have seen just recently, they sent out a bunch of letters to Bitcoin holders last year, right?
Yeah, tens of thousands of letters, and with varying degrees of severity. So if you get one of these letters, the best thing to do is to contact a tax professional, but then use software like ZenLedger to bring all your trades into one place and create so what we do for you is we'll auto-populate your tax forms would also give you a full audit trail. So CPAs and savvy, individuals are really comfortable then going to an IRS examiner and saying, hey, like, the 1099K says I traded $100,000, right? But that was really like 2 Bitcoin traded back and forth 20 times.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have $100,000 of profits, and you can show that with detailed reports.
Yeah, and I definitely want to get into what is taxable and what is not taxable in crypto. Like, I'm in crypto every single day, and I read news articles, and I'm watching interviews, and so sometimes I feel like I take it for granted, like that the average person in crypto may not know. But before we get to that part, I want to say, or I want to ask you, like, just so people understand the urgency of making sure that you actually do file your taxes, what are some of the consequences somebody might face? And this isn't fear tactics or scare tactics. I just want to know, like, what are the repercussions for someone if, let's say, they've been trading crypto for a whole year and they just totally leave it off their taxes?
Yeah, so we're still waiting to see on some of that. So you'll see Congress will state some things like, hey, 2018 tax bill, the 1031 exchanges are not allowed. So like Ethereum and ICOs, calling that a non-taxable event, not allowed. So you see things like that, so we kind of have to wait a couple of years to see what shakes out. But the IRS can go back 7 years to conduct an audit. So like, we don't really know what's going to happen in the next 7 years in crypto taxation regulation. So I'd say, but IRS can always go back and audit, and then you'll be assessed some sort of penalty and a percent, like 6% interest or whatever, on what you didn't pay over years if you did. So most CPAs that you talk to kind of advise, hey, get something on the books now, go ahead and comply. You can take like a tax optimization strategy, and then maybe in the future, if you underpaid, then you have a smaller fine. But if you don't pay anything at all, there's a difference between a fine and like the criminal offense of tax evasion.
Yeah. Yeah. What is the difference? Is it like if you're just willfully making sure you're like taking steps to actively hide as compared to kind of not reporting?
Yeah. Again, there's like levels there, but
Yeah.
so if cryptocurrency, or just like any other kind of capital asset in the United States, if you sell a home or sell stocks or sell your stamp collection and you make a gain, then you pay taxes on those gains. And so it's not really a good defense to say like, oh, I thought crypto wasn't taxable, or the exchanges didn't give me the correct tax information. It's on the burden of the individual to assess your taxes and pay them correctly. So just getting on the books and complying in some way and trying to calculate your taxes is way, way better than just not paying them for years and years. We've actually had some clients who restated their taxes from 2013, even if they're like an early Coinbase employee, like number 30 at Coinbase. And he found that he had overpaid his taxes by $250,000. So he restated them. Then we had another client who restated their 2017 taxes for the third time because they're heavy into ICOs. And the third time they used ZenLedger and sent in their reports again, the IRS came back with a letter saying, hey, thanks. We had a criminal investigation open on you, and we're closing it now.
Oh, wow.
So they don't tell you if there's a criminal investigation open. But our clients are all trying to just do the best they can. And a lot of them are pretty savvy, but a lot of them are also just like, look, I'm 60 years old. I have an LLC. I have a 401k. I have a house. I'm used to like paying taxes on all my capital assets. And so like, I'm just going to like keep, complying and staying on the right side of things.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So let's move back really quickly to the point I wanted to get to regarding taxable events. So now we understand, like, you got to file your taxes, something that you have to do, even though we kind of like all knew that already, like just reinforcing that. What are taxable events in crypto? Like, what qualifies, what meets that standard?
Yeah. So when you sell crypto for crypto, so like Bitcoin for Ethereum, Ethereum for XYZ, those are taxable events. Those two assets are different in nature, just like selling Tesla for Amazon stock, or selling your house for 10 cars or whatever. And then selling crypto out to fiat. So Bitcoin out to a stable coin or out to actual fiat dollars. Those are taxable events. Was not a taxable event is dollars into crypto, fiat into crypto. That is not taxable because you've already been taxed on those dollars in some way.
Right. Yeah, I think the one thing people get real confused on is understanding that trading crypto for crypto is a taxable event. And so what about someone who, let's say, they've been like a day trader and didn't even know this? Because I actually found this is pretty common. People don't know. And you've been making hundreds or even thousands of trades per year. What kind of situation does that put a person like that in?
Yeah, I mean, you could be in a lot of trouble. Like, who knows? Like, the markets have been quite choppy, and you may have
Right.
taken a lot of losses that made you overpay, or in the wash with all the fees and everything, it might not be as bad. But you should definitely take an honest look at your portfolio, like load it in, see what the implication is, and then consult a tax professional and figure out a strategy on how to stay on the right side of things, right? Like burying your head isn't going to help, especially if you have a bunch of trades like in Coinbase or Gemini, and a lot of trades like across the public blockchain. Like the government's probably going to start tracking these things down.
Yeah. And I got to say, so I've you guys gave me a free copy of ZenLedger, a free subscription. So I was able to get in there and look. I had actually never played with one of these tax softwares before. I've had a CPA that's done my taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in there and I plugged it in. I connected the API to some of the exchanges that I use. And I was blown away how easy it was. And I actually I am in much better shape than I thought I was because I had taken a lot of losses in 2018. Is that something pretty common, you think, where people are just surprised how easy it is to plug everything up?
Yeah, absolutely. So people are intimidated at first, just like with taxes, right? There's these people, you wait until April 7th and then you file an extension or whatever, because it's just the mental burden of worrying about your taxes is actually worse than just sitting down for one day and getting it done. And we've just spent years, making this smoother. We're a venture-backed company with 15 people. We're based in Seattle, and a lot of our effort goes into API integrations, CSV upload, and then a fully staffed customer service, 24/7 chat, email, and phone support to make this as easy as possible. We take in inputs a lot and just constantly try to improve the product to make things as smooth as possible.
Yeah, and you guys also, it's not just crypto taxes you're doing. Like if somebody wants all their taxes prepared, you guys do that as well, correct?
Yeah, so we have a CPA partner in Gordon Law Group out of Chicago, and they're just a top tier firm for law and accounting in crypto and regular CPA, individual and corporate accounting too. So you can purchase a year of tax reports through ZenLedger and just take care of that. It's like just a software subscription. Or you can also purchase like a CPA done for you package where the CPA is a crypto expert and they're using ZenLedger to handle your crypto part. But then also we'll look at your 401k, your LLC, your regular income, your all that stuff for you too.
Yeah, and can you talk a little bit about the different tiers that you have? Because this isn't just for people who have a little crypto or people that have a lot of crypto. Like you guys really fit pretty much anyone's needs. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so depending on the amount of trades you have, we start at $79 a year, and we have a coupon of 15% off BitBoy 15, so it would be 15% off that. Mental math is escaping me. Yeah. But if you just have a couple hundred trades, you can for whatever $55 a year. You can get your taxes done completely for you. You may have a tax loss asset. If you have up to $3,000 of losses, can be taken off of your income tax even in any one given year. So that can pay off immediately. And then if you just have tons of trades, we just have different tiers going up to $149 a month and up to $1,000 a year. If you just have tons of trades, if you had a bot trading hundreds of thousands of trades across multiple exchanges, you got multiple wallets, like you're a mini hedge fund, we still take care of you.
Yeah, and I certainly think it's much easier to just be able to plug and play between ZenLedger and these exchanges than you keeping up with your own spreadsheet. That's insane. At the level I trade on, which is not huge, even that would be super annoying for me.
Yeah, so a lot of times the CPA, we've had customers who their CPA fired them because they found out they were in crypto. And the CPA was like, I don't want to deal with this. And then the client just goes, hey, here's the 8949, here's the Schedule D, here's an invitation to ZenLedger. It's all taken care of already. Because CPAs are not very adventurous by nature, and so they kind of have to be brought along. The investors in crypto right now, we're all like on the frontier. We're ready for the adventure. It's really interesting and fun. That, you know, your tax professionals are a very different animal, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like so if you try to do this by hand, like you'd have to pull all these different prices. You'd have to track your cost basis as you move them from a wallet to Coinbase to Binance to Bittrex back to your wallet, and figuring out if you want to do you know, highest in, first out, last in, first out. You know, you're subtracting the fees each time you move your crypto, like all that type of stuff. It would just become unmanageable in Excel.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely not a job that I want to undertake. Now, what about people who have? This is kind of an interesting question I was thinking about. What about people that have traded on exchanges? Let's say they're not supposed to be trading on. Like, you know, you definitely have margin trading platforms. Margin trading isn't really allowed in the United States on crypto. So if you're doing that on, you know, let's say BitMEX or Bybit or whatever the case may be, and then, you know, you're reporting that on your taxes, how does that work?
Yeah. So the United States doesn't say it's illegal to trade on BitMEX. BitMEX says we don't want U.S. people on our platform because we don't want to have to conform to U.S. law. So if you want to like report your profits on BitMEX, the United States isn't going to come after you and say, oh, you illegally traded on this exchange. It's not like aiding terrorism or trading with North Korea. That's not the case. It's BitMEX trying to avoid U.S. regulation by pretending that Americans aren't trading on BitMEX. Just like ICOs put a geofence and say, oh, no Americans invested in this ICO. It's not because America says it's illegal to invest overseas. It's because that ICO doesn't want to have to, you know, vet for accredited investors and things like that.
That's very interesting insight. Definitely. I did notice that Bybit was not on the list. Pretty much every exchange I've ever used was on there. Is that a place that you plan to integrate at some point? And what would someone do if they used an exchange that you guys don't technically support?
Yeah, we're constantly adding new exchanges. So you know, it just takes a little time on each one, and we'll, you know, upload the API or CSV for that exchange. If for some reason we don't support that exchange, you can always create a simple CSV spreadsheet, and we can always help you with that. Sometimes the customer just sends us whatever they can get from that exchange, and we'll, you know, help put it into a CSV for you. Even like we just care a lot about customer success and just getting you through a stressful time. And so like we don't let that get in the way. We don't tell you like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't support that exchange or that wallet. We say, you know, give us whatever you can, give us the public address, you know, take a screenshot, whatever you can, and we'll get it in the system for you.
Awesome. Okay, well, this has been a great, very insightful interview. I definitely walked away with some information I'm going to use in another video because I did not know that. I thought it was the United States that was putting that restriction on. I didn't realize that it's actually the exchanges themselves. So that's definitely very interesting information. So if you guys want to get 15% off on ZenLedger, you guys make sure to use my promo code BitBoy15. You guys can go to ZenLedger, just type in zenledger.bitboy.live. That'll take you right to my link. And we definitely, Pat, appreciate you for coming on the show today.
Oh, thanks you. It was really fun chatting with you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.